It's cool to actually see what Rockstar used to bring in GTA and what back then we thought was just astounding. But now Rockstar have got to new heights and they've really glowed up a lot of cars. In this video, we're going to be going through cars that I think have had a massive glow up in GTA. Now, the i8 in real life is not really the most loved vehicle. First of all, people have a little hate for BMWs. Second of all, it was an i8, it was mixed with the M1 homage. It wasn't that fast, it had a 3-cylinder. And then when they added it into GTA, I thought they did even like a worse job. The SC1 was so ugly. This also came out in the Doomsday Heist in 2018 and the price was 1.6 million for this horrendous thing. But then in the bottom dollar bounties DLC not too long ago, they added the i8 to a more realistic form, which was called an Iobi. At 1.8 million, not even that far off of a car that was released 6.5 years ago. 200k more, but then of course this came with the HSW option that you had to pay more for. But look, it looks so much better, so much more realistic, and early in my opinion, better than the real life model. The 9F, I remember, it was clearly an R8. We could see in the trailer that 9F, everyone knew, everyone was hyped, everyone was like, whoa, they're bringing such realistic cars in the game, the 9F. And now we look at it, that is not a realistic car. That does not look anything like the R8 when you compare it to the 10F. The 10F looks so much like the R8. Okay, it's the newer version, but back then, we thought the 9F was that easily identical, but now, if you play GTA more than you go outside, then you'll have to double check where the differences are between the 10F and the real R8. And of course, they did have the 10F wide body as well, where they made it look even better. 10F really good, affordable 1.675 million, and the Bennies to make it the wide body was only 575k. The 10F does not make Rockstar logic. The only Porsche in GTA 4, the Comet. The Comet was such a legendary car, a sports car that had the performance of a sports car. And if you remember GTA 4, it used to give you that enough power to see that warp speed, and then you knew it was a fast car. 5 years later, after GTA 5's release, they updated the Comet and brought out the Comet SR. Okay, 4.5 years. But that is ridiculous, 4.5 years for an update. But boy, what a good update the Doomsday Heist was. And they added a lot of detail to the Comet SR. With the headlights, with the rear lights, with the amount of modifications you could add to the Comet SR. But now, 3 years later, after the Comet SR, they brought out the Comet S2. Wait, what? Los Santos Tudors was 2021? That doesn't even feel that long ago. But they added the Comet S2, which has got to be the biggest glow up. How they started adding cars so realistic that it makes you start questioning the copyright issue. You as a player starts getting concerned. They did it with many Porsches in the game, and they still baffle me to this day. The Comet Blackfin, what an OG car, even though it wasn't even out when GTA released. It's the Ill-Gotten Gains DLC. Sorry, part 2, which is in July 2015. This car is old. Everyone remembers this car for the sound, those unique wheels that it came with. Most people I know didn't even change the wheels because this car had such good wheels. And although this had a bit of an Austin Healey in there, it was primarily based on the C1 Corvette, which now in GTA, they've just brought out a spitting image of. I remember putting this side by side with the real Corvette, and it's remarkable how close Rockstar got this. And it's confusing as well, like why would they do that when they have the Comet Blackfin already in the game? I don't think they skipped out on sound because this is a really good sounding car again. I might have to do another best sounding cars in GTA. The Messer is a vehicle you can only really get from the mercenaries. You have to go and steal it from them. And there's quite a few different variants of the Messer that are unattainable. And when you look at them, it's actually a clear indication of what it is. It's a Jeep. You can clearly see by the shape, the lights, the overall size of it. But then the Terminus came out in the Chop Shop DLC, costing 1.87 million. Yeah, it's quite far off free, but this thing has crazy amount of modifications. And it looks so much more like an actual Wrangler. This was another one that was getting scarily close to the real life thing. The ZR380. It came out in the Apocalypse DLC, and what an amazing DLC this was. Like, it really showed us the extent of what Rockstar can do and what they can add to vehicles. It was actually overwhelming when it came to car modification. All those spikes, all those scoops, the nitrous was a big one, the headlight color change, and it was like they could do all this. Why not add it to more cars? Until this day, they haven't even added nitrous. But everyone hated that armored, covered up ZR380, and for so long, since the end of 2018 when the Arena War came out, they've been wanting an updated version. Although not based on exactly the same car, we now have the Euros, which is the 370Z that came in 2021, 3 years later. And here we are, we've got no armor. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the wide body on the Apocalypse. But after all that complaining, 3 years later, they did bring it just for me to think, hang on, the Apocalypse one does look a bit better. The Corvette from 2013 actually was a really good looking car. It still is a really good looking car. And it was good looking in different ways. Sports car that was really fast, had quite a few modifications on it, but it did look exactly like the Corvette, and it had those sharp angles and everything where it looked like a really good car, but not the same taillights as the Corvette. The Corvette D5 is a nearly a spitting image of the C6. Everyone can recognize it. If you don't even own GTA, you didn't even know that Rockstar remodeled cars, you'd think Corvette C6 straight away. And it is an older version of the current one in GTA, which is a C7, but it's a really good remake. And funny enough, in GTA, the newer but older C6 Corvette is faster than the C7. The BF injection, I'm not gonna lie, this car really does not got any notoriety. It was just one of those things that was in Blaine County and Paleto Bay, and you know, you drove past it, you never really stored this vehicle. But of course, it being a buggy, you know what it's based off. Very easy to identify, but not as easy as the Weevil. The Weevil came out looking so much like the Bug that it was unbelievable. Nearly the same shapes all round the car. And they bettered it. They brought the Weevil Custom, which I would say relates more to the BF injection, but at the same time it relating less to it because they're both modded versions. And I don't even know why I tried racing the Weevil Custom versus the BF injection, because the Weevil Custom is the fastest non-HSW car. So on previous gen consoles, the Weevil Custom is the fastest car. The Banshee 900R already was a crazy good vehicle, but always bothered people. Like, you could clearly tell it's a Viper. It had the shape, it looked like a Viper, but it always had that remodel that was from GTA 4. Just now with a wide body, the 900R. But Rockstar just wanted to wow everyone and bring the Banshee GTS out. We can't skip all the models. There was a HSW version in 2013, but the 900R looks way outdated now when it comes to the Banshee GTS. The Banshee GTS looks so realistic, has HSW. All we're missing now is a wide body. I wouldn't be surprised if Rockstar bring out another DLC and they added the wide body version that you had to pay $2 million for. But what an astounding car. The Baller was a car that I've showed in my previous videos, that the Baller, so many variations of it, and it's one of those cars like the Baller LE, the Baller LE Armored, the Baller LE long wheelbase Armored. There is so many, but then they finally brought out another Baller that wasn't the same shape and looks again stupidly realistic. This time we did get the big one like the Range Rover and not the Sport. So it is a different car, but the globe is real. Like, that is a big difference, nice difference. Stupid amount of modifications. You can get this thing crazy low. Nothing that air suspension couldn't get you in real life. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. What do you think should be glowed up? What do you think GTA right now is lacking a bit and it needs a bit of an update? Let me know what you think that is. Thank you so much for watching and see you guys in the next one.